All right, guys, so I wanted to play some festive music as we came into class today because we are approaching the holiday season. All right, so get out materials for class. Make sure that we want to make sure that we understand this concept. Make sure that it's super solid. I already see that some of us have put it in the chat, which is awesome. So number one is y equals negative 7x minus 4. So this should be quite easy for most of us at this point if we've been coming to class and asking questions and that kind of thing and paying attention. And again, you know, I can't do two things at once. So when somebody joins our class, I have to stop and write their name down. All right, so remember our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where our m represents our slope and our b represents our y-intercept. So let's see, I'm seeing that the people who said that I got two different answers for slope. I got -7 and +7. Knowing that it's 7 is really good. Just make sure that you're noticing that negative sign in front of the 7. So it is going to be a -7 for our slope. And then you guys both noticed that it was the 4, which was our y-intercept. We just got to make sure that we understand that good, Namaya, you corrected your mistake. Good. So we just got to make sure we acknowledge that when it says -4 by itself, that's a -4. So when we're looking at things as separate terms. So that's going to be a -4 for our y-intercept. All right. And if we go over here, same thing, we're looking at for our slope. So our slope is going to be 3/2 or 3/2. And then our y-intercept for this one is actually also going to be -4, excuse me. So I just wanted to kind of review that with you guys, just make sure understanding the different parts of the slope-intercept format is pretty key in this unit. So if you don't know which one's the slope and which one's the y-intercept, definitely make sure that you're working towards building that understanding, asking questions if you don't understand, but we've been going over it for a few weeks now, several weeks now. All right, so this week, finding B. So we've been talking about finding B all week. So finding that y-intercept when it's not given to us. We've also been working on understanding y equals mx plus b a little bit. And then today we're gonna use this concept of finding B, and then we're gonna take it a step further and we're gonna talk about how to graph. And we've done this before, actually. A lot of these skills I've kind of teased or introduced to you guys before, but today we're gonna be talking about how we can kind of put it all together. So equations, points, graphing, all of that goes hand in hand and we can put it together. So just as a review, again, y equals mx plus b is our lifeline. This represents a non-proportional relationship. The piece of it that makes it a non-proportional relationship is this y-intercept, because it goes up or down the y-axis. So if it started at the origin 0, 0, then it would be proportional, but because it's starting somewhere else on the y-axis, it's going to be a non-proportional relationship. Remember, guys, y-intercept is where our line intersects the y-axis or touches the y-axis. We've been following these steps this week. We're going to continue to do that. Let's see, I might like post a little snippet of this on our Google Classroom page so that you can use it on quizzes and tests and stuff like that. So, so you can follow the steps on your own. Also, you guys are at home, so if you're taking a test, you can use your resources that are on our Google Classroom page as well, anytime. All right, so I know there's no directions, it's just a table and it says, how do we find B? So what we wanna do is we wanna figure out, we started with this yesterday, we started understanding that tables actually are just points. So when we're given a table, it's just X, Y values. So this 9, 2 is actually just 9, 2. So that's a point on the graph. Same thing with 3, -2. That's going to be at 3, -2. So these are all points on a graph. So how do we find B? Well, we first have to start with finding the slope. Well, we're actually pretty familiar at this point, hopefully, on how to find the slope of between 2 points. So remember, we take the change in our y values divided by the change in our x values. So y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So we're going to do that with these first 2 points. You can choose any 2 points on the table, but I'm just going to go with these first 2. So we're going to find our change in our y values, and then we're going to divide that by the change in our x values. So remember, rate of change, all of that, rate of change is the same thing as slope. So change in y, we got to find the difference in y. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a point. So, remember, we've got x2, sorry, we've got y2 minus y1. So I'm just going to make this first one y2 and the second one y1. So I'm just going to take the change in my y values. So I'm going to take 2 minus a negative 2 divided by the change in my x values. So x2 is 9 minus 3. All right, go ahead and simplify that on your own and type it into the chat what you think the slope is. And you should be good at simplifying these at this point. Even if you're still struggling to find the slope on your own, you definitely should be able to simplify this. All right, so I'm seeing 2 answers. Remember, yesterday, I don't know if those of you who participated noticed, I gave you guys some PBIS points. So if you are participating actively in class, I've been trying to reward you guys because I really appreciate you guys contributing, being brave and entering your answers confidently. Nobody should think anything of anybody else if they get it right or wrong. This is, again, remote learning is new for all of us. So just being able to communicate with me and your classmates is really awesome. So it looks like we've got 4/6 is what people are saying. Well, let's go ahead and look at this. We've got 2 minus a negative 2. Well, if you type in 2 minus a negative 2 in your calculator, you're going to get the same thing as 2. Remember, we can make that a plus sign. So 2 when we subtract a negative. So 2 plus 2 gives us 4. And then 9 minus 3 gives us 6. So those of you who said 4/6, awesome job. However, I did notice when we take 4 divided by 6, we get 0.66. We don't get 1.5. I think we were still thinking that it was 6/4 because when you do 6/4, you get 1.5. When we do 4 divided by 6, we get 0.66 repeating. So since we get a repeating decimal, I'm actually just going to keep this, this format for right now. So this is going to be our slope that we're going to use. So for m, we found our slope. So m is going to be 4/6. And then it says plug the slope into the y-intercept formula or slope-intercept formula. So go ahead and write this down with me. We've got y equals mx plus b. I want to plug in our slope. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute for m, because remember, m represents our slope. And I talked about how that doesn't make any sense. Why does the letter m represent a word that starts with s? Who knows? But that's just what in the math world we have accepted and adopted. So m is going to be our slope. So we're going to plug in 4/6 for m in this equation. Next, step 2, use a point in x comma y format and substitute it into your slope intercept formula. So we're going to pick any of these points on this, this table. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick. Actually, you know what? I don't want that one. That one has got, what was I going to say? Negative. So I'm just going to do this top one because, you know, keeping everything positive is good. Keeping all of our numbers, avoiding negatives because negatives can just get dicey, especially when some of us feel like we don't need to use our calculators. I still tell my in-person students, I'm like, use your calculator. You have your calculator. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this point out of our table. So this is going to be written as 9 comma, oops, I don't know why I miswrote 4, 9 comma 2. And remember, we write points as x comma y. So we're going to substitute in 9 for x, because it's an x value, and we're going to substitute in 2 for y. All right, so next I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this. So remember, I'm substituting in 2 for y. So I'm going to write 2 equals 4, 6, because that's my slope. And remember the relationship between slope and x. So when you ever see y equals mx plus b, m and x are being multiplied. So that's why I replace whatever x is, which in this case our x value is 9, and I multiply the slope by that number. So at this point, we've just got to go down this and solve. So I'm going to draw my line down the middle. Can't do anything with 2, so I'm just going to bring them down. 4, 6 times 9. So go ahead and type in your calculator. And if you have one of these calculators, which hopefully you do, or one that can enter fractions, you're going to do 4ABC 6 times 9. And good, Nehemiah, you got 6. Good. So we're going to get 6 when we simplify that. And then we're going to bring down our plus b because he's still over there somewhere. And remember, we've got to get all of our constants to one side, all of our variables to the other. So, and this was in our algebra unit, as I keep saying. So if you're not familiar, that's what I'm talking about. So we've got our constants. I need to move all of my constants to one side, all of my variables to the other. So I've got b already on the right side. So I'm going to move 6 to the other side. I move a positive term, or a positive 6, by canceling it out. I want to move it. I want to cancel it out. So I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite of a positive 6, which is a negative 6. And whatever I do to one side, I've got to do to the other. Well, 6 minus 6 cancels, so that's good. And then on the left side, we've got 2 minus 6, which just gives me negative 4. And then I'm going to bring down b. So our b is negative 4. 1 second, guys. I'm going to answer the phone. Hello. Good morning. Hold on 1 second. Yes. Did I mess it up again? Okay. Well, hey, I'm in a Zoom class, so I gotta go. No, you're good. All right, bye. Thanks, bye. All right, guys. So, good, Maya. You said negative 4. So then we solved for b. Sorry, just had to answer the phone. So this says plug b into our final equation. So we've got our final equation. Remember, we're going to write it in y equals mx plus b format. So given what we know b is negative 4, and we know m is 4, 6. In the chat, go ahead and type what you think that our equation would be, because I'm going to expect you guys by next week, you should be able to do this. We spend a whole week on this skill. And if you have questions, then you should be asking them. But remember, we write it in y equals mx plus b format. In the chat, go ahead and type in what you think our equation would be for this. Okay, guys, and I did get some messages privately. Again, if you're ever not sure and you're feeling uncomfortable, like you don't want to type it to everybody, I'm fine if you want to send it to me privately. So the answers that I'm seeing though are y equals 4/6x plus a -4. So my only suggestion to make that even better, which you guys did an awesome job coming up with that. My only suggestion, we're gonna write this as y equals 4/6x minus 4. So the reason we put plus b is just saying, okay, that's where b goes. So if b is a negative, then you need to write it as a negative. So since b is -4, we're gonna write it as a -4. But otherwise, really good job to everybody who came up with that. So next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take it a step further today. So we talked about graphing these points a few weeks ago. When we're graphing these equations, we're gonna start at the origin or 0, 0. And if you have graphing paper at home, this can be helpful. If you have those printouts of what I posted on Google Classroom, that's fine too. But we're gonna start at the origin. We're gonna start plotting this with our y-intercept. So we're gonna use that y-intercept to make our first point. So starting at the origin, I'm gonna go down to -4. And that's where my line is gonna intersect the y-axis, which makes sense because that's what it is, it's the y-intercept. All right, we're gonna use our slope, which is 4/6, to guide this line. So remember, our slope is change in y over change in, so rise over run. So I'm gonna use this slope. I'm gonna start at that blue dot I made, and I'm gonna go up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing, I'm gonna go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my line, you know how good I am at this, guys, is gonna be something like this. So it's going to look like this. So what I want you to understand from this is when we have these equations, we can use that y-intercept to start our line. So that's where you're gonna use that slope to kind of guide your line. So we're gonna actually try this on Desmos real quick. I wanna test out our, let's see, where is that link? I wanna go ahead and make sure that we can see what it looks like when it's done, you know, in a nice organized fashion. So one second. So if we've got, so we had y equals 4/6x minus 4. So that is what our lovely little line would look like with that equation that we came up with. And, you know, oh, that's what my online classes or my in-person class is doing. Uh-oh, Ms. Sprunger's on the struggle bus again. So, you know, our line looks kind of close, not as pretty, but that is what it would look like if it was graphed nice and pretty. And I just wanted you guys to kind of be able to see that. All right, next we're gonna go on to a word problem. I love word problems. I know some people feel differently. Let me pull up the chat again just to make sure it's on my screen. All right, Miss Sprunger is baking cookies for the holidays. She bakes 30 cookies in 1 hour and 90 cookies in 2 hours. Write an equation for this situation. So I do bake a lot of cookies during the Christmas and holiday season. So we've got some things we need to think about. She bakes 30 cookies, so 30 cookies in 1 hour. In 2 hours, she bakes 90 cookies. Write an equation for this situation. So we want to figure out the slope of this line. Well, remember, these are just written like points. So we've got 2, 90 and 1, 30. So we're going to go ahead and so you should be writing these down as well as me. So we're going to find our change in y divided by our change in x. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find the difference. Difference is a math term for subtraction. Remember, we've talked about that before. So change in y. So I'm going to go ahead and take, I'll make this, you know how we've talked about making 0.2 versus 0.1. I'll make the second one 0.2. So I'm going to take 90 minus 30. And I'm just finding the difference between our y values divided by the difference in our x values. All right, so 90 minus 30. So go ahead and go ahead and put what our slope is going to be. So go ahead and put that in the chat, what you think our slope is going to be. You guys are so cute with your little question marks. You're like, is that the right answer? Yes, be confident. Good. It is 60 over 1. So 90 minus 30 is going to give us 60. 2 minus 1 is going to give us 1. So we can simplify 60 divided by 1, because remember this line right here represents division as well. So 60 divided by 1 is just 60. So the slope of our line is going to be 60. So we found the slope. We need to go ahead and input this into our slope intercept formula. So we've got, remember, y equals mx plus b. I'm going to go ahead and take out my m because m is our slope. So I'm going to go ahead and input what our slope is. So we've got y equals 60x plus b. Next, I'm going to do step 2. Use a point in our x comma y format and substitute them into your slope intercept formula. So I'm going to take one of our points. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one because that looks, just pick one of them. You could do 2 comma 90, but I'm just going to do 1 comma 30. So our x, remember, let me see my highlighter. Our x value is 1, so I'm going to replace that here for our x, and our y value is 30, and I'm going to replace that over here. So let me get my pen. So y equals, oh, I don't know why I said y. Sorry, guys. I'm replacing y with 30. 30 equals 60, and instead of x, I'm putting in times 1 plus b. Go ahead and see if you guys can simplify this on your own. So think about what steps we followed all week. See if you guys can solve for b. All right, so I've had some people message it to me privately, but if you think you know what b is, go ahead and type it in the chat. All right, I'm going to draw my line down the middle of that equal sign. So can't do anything with 30 on the left, so I'm just going to bring them on down. 30 equals 60 times 1, that's just 60. And then I'm going to bring down my plus b. All right, so next I need to go ahead, I want to move all of my constants to one side so I can have my b by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and move a positive 60 by doing the opposite. So the opposite of a positive 60 is a negative 60. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 60 from both sides. So 30 minus 60 gives me negative 30. I'm going to bring down my remaining variable. So b equals negative 30. All right. Last but not least, we've plugged b into your final equation. So go ahead and type in the chat what you think our equation is going to be. Remember, we write it in y equals mx plus b format. So go ahead and write what you think it's going to be. All right, so I've got a couple people entering it in the chat. So for this one, we've got y equals, instead of m, we're going to plug in our slope. Our slope is 60. So y equals 60x. And then our b is negative 30. So remember, instead of plus negative 30, we're just gonna do negative 30. So y equals 60x minus 30. Well, I can't really plot that on this graph, but let's go ahead and do it on Desmos so I can show you guys. So we're gonna do, let me go ahead and minimize this. So y equals 60x minus, let's see, y equals 60x minus 30. So it looks like a straight line up close, but really it's just a really, really steep line. So the more I zoom out, you can kind of tell it's, hold on, I'll put my face on. It's kind of tilted just a little bit. It looks kind of straight, but it really, and it intersects that y-axis if we zoom in at negative 30. So it's a really, really steep line though. That's what it's gonna look like on a graph. I'm glad I didn't try and graph that myself. All right, let's see. You know what, you guys have been working hard all week. I'm gonna say we're done for today. So, but before you log off, I just wanna make sure, 1 second. Let me put your Google Classroom up here. This is my second bell. You guys are my third bell. All right, so remember, if you ever miss a lesson, I post all of our lessons and the topic that we talk about on Google Classroom under that week. So, you know, today will be number 44. And then all of your assignments are due on Sunday. Next week, and I'll tell you more about it next week, we're gonna do probably 1 or 2 assignments, but they're gonna be due by, I'll say Thursday. So I'll probably give you only like 1 assignment then, but it's because I have to get grades in by Friday. So I'm still gonna give you some assignments, but they'll need to be turned in pretty quickly next week. So just putting that on your radar. Tomorrow we'll be doing our help session. So let me stop sharing real quick. Tomorrow's gonna be our help session. So if you need help with anything, want some one-on-one practice or help. So we don't meet on Fridays, as you guys know. But if you want help, extra help, anything like that, go ahead and join us tomorrow at the same time, same link that you normally use. And then I can go ahead and help you guys one-on-one. Before you go, type in the chat one thing you're excited for about the holiday season, and then you guys can go. I just want to, you know, kind of get to know you guys a little bit better since you're behind a screen. So type in one thing that you're excited about for the holiday season. And I'll type mine in too. Christmas dinner. I do like the ham and I do like the mashed potatoes and everything. You're good. I just wanted you guys to type in something that you're looking forward to for Christmas. So Christmas dinner with family, see my family and eat. Yeah, I know around the holidays the food's so good. Oh, and your birthday. Happy birthday, Namaya. Being with family. Okay, guys, I just wanted to kind of do that really quick. All right, so you guys are good for today. I'm gonna